Hey everyone, welcome to the next episode of Unisharks podcast. I am your host, Mako Shark, joined by my co-hosts, Lemon Shark and Hammerhead Shark.
Hi.
Hello.
All right, so to kick things off, we're going to start with meme of the week. We found one. Well, there's two. There's two good ones, so we'll start with the first one. It's Mickey Mouse singing in Korean and dancing. That's simple, but it's pretty funny. It's pretty good. Actually sounds a lot like the voice actor, so we're wondering if it was done by AI. So second, very close second, is the talking stoplight, I believe it's called. So, and it's kind of starts off with this newscast about, sounds like children's classrooms. They put in the stoplight to get the kids to quiet down. You know, it's green when it's okay. It's yellow when it's getting noisy. It's red when they need to be quiet. But instead, when it hits red, you hear like, shut your effing mouth. So yeah, definitely classic format for a meme. So I'll put those in the description.
Really sweet.
Yeah,
it starts off really sweet. Then it's like, oh, green's okay. Yellows get a little bit moist or noisy, but then red just like devolves into chaos. Like, shut your mouth. It's like, oh goodness. It's so relatable too, though. Like that's how teachers be sometimes, you know.
Yeah, like unironically, I think that sounds like a pretty good idea too.
For real.
Yeah. All right, so moving on, we'll hand our first topic to Hammerhead Shark. What have you got for us?
I feel like you always make me go first.
Oh, do I? Sorry.
That's fine. I don't really care either ways. Yeah. So my topic, it was. I don't want to sound selfish and stuff like that, but that's why I'm bringing it up to you guys as well. But the conversation topic is, is it wrong, or can you complain about free stuff? And before I want to get out the obvious, like obviously if someone gives you a stick of dynamite that's on fire for free, obviously you don't want that.
Oh, so we can't be like, hey, you get a free lunch, but it's like crappy middle school cafeteria lunch, like not that kind of free, but actual, like,
no, that's free game. I'm saying, like, if someone gives you poison for free and tells you like, hey, drink this, you're like, oh, it's for free, like that type of stuff. Like, okay, obviously
so
you're not gonna want it.
Yeah, like no absurdist, like extreme stuff. Okay.
Yes. So my example, that when I first thought of it, and it's not exactly the whole theme that I want us to go over. Um, it was on a video game, so I don't want to just say strictly free stuff on video games, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So, but on this one game, I was lucky enough and I got the rare thing on a free poll, but it was an entirely different one that I actually wanted. There's like 2 of them, 3 of them, something like that. And like the one that I want is like a higher percent chance of getting it, but I still got the other one. And it's like thanks, but I don't want it. I wanted something else.
Yeah, I get you.
And so kind of stuff like that, if someone gave you like another example, um, shout out to Jack's Films, but he does a thing of crappy Christmas gifts that people receive, and like stuff that he gets are like the Christmas calendars or um like a stocking or something on Christmas Day. It's like, oh great, I can use this next year. So I just have to wait a year now. It's like it's great, it's a gift, but like whatever. So yeah, that's why I wanted to hear guys' input. Like, is it just bad to complain about it, or is it okay in certain circumstances? When should you not? When should you? Those type of things.
I guess it depends on like the context and the quality. Just those two things. Because if it's a gift, then no, you need to shut your mouth and take it because someone else sacrificed time or money or both to get that for you. So I think, I've had a few Christmases where my mom teeters back and forth between the best and the worst gift giver I've ever known. So it's like she'll either buy you something that you never would have thought of, and it turns out to be amazing. Like once she bought me this book I'd never even heard of. So I was like, well, okay, whatever. It was a gift. I'll read it. Ended up being one of my all-time favorite books, and I bought the rest of the franchise almost immediately.
What was it?
The Bartimaeus Chronicles.
Oh, okay. Don't know it, but yeah.
Yeah, really good books. And then this past Christmas, she bought me a ramen bowl that comes with its own little chopstick holder. It was like, it's like totally random. I was like, this is really cool. I really like this. I never even knew these existed. So it's stuff like that. But and she's gotten a lot better about it recently. I should also throw in there. But it's also been stuff like a few years ago, she bought me these $20 Bluetooth headphones, and they died within 2 months. So, and she'll buy like shirts that I already have, and yeah, that's what I have to say. I'm so sorry, Mom. I already have this, and yeah, when I was young and stupid and ungrateful, she at one point bought me a Yu-Gi-Oh shirt, and I flipped out. I was like, I don't even like Yu-Gi-Oh! And my dad had to explain to me later, well, she probably saw there were dragons on it and she knew you liked dragons, so she bought it for you. And that's when, like, little 9-year-old me was like, okay, I'm being a little piece of crap and I need to knock it off.
Yeah.
So, and she has gotten better actually after that Bluetooth headset crapped out. I just mentioned it to her. I apologized. And later she bought me a much better, much more high quality pair that I've been using for years now. The next Christmas. So, but yeah, if it's a gift, then no, just shut your mouth and take it. If it's something else, though, like if you go to a company picnic and they give you crappy old sandwiches, then yeah, I think you have some reason to complain, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, what do you think, Lemon?
Yeah, I definitely agree because especially with like you mentioned someone mentioned earlier about cafeteria food, and it's like technically our taxpayer money is going towards that, and also like a company picnic, it's like technically like they're getting that money from, or like we're helping them make money, like as employees and stuff. It's like you're using this crappy like food to like what's the word, justify not giving us a good enough pay raise and all that stuff. That type of situation, yeah, it's okay to complain. But also another thing I thought about too, it's like my lemon or not lemon, like what Hammerhead said earlier about like a dynamite stick. It's like you could probably complain about something given to you for free if it's hazardous to your health. Because I remember one year I went to like it was a white elephant gift exchange thing, and someone for some reason decided to like put in like a diaper that was used. So like opened up the box and there's like a little like diaper that had like little crap in it, and it's like, bro.
Oh my gosh, what an idiot!
I know, right? Like that's hazardous to your health. That's disgusting. Like, why would you do that? Like, yeah, it's for free, but like, I don't want that. It's like it's hazardous to your health. So,
yeah, like
those extreme cases, it's kind of yeah, you can complain about it.
That actually makes me kind of mad. Like, white elephant gifts should be stuff like a Russian nesting doll of LeBron James, not actual like biological contaminants.
For real.
Like, what in the world? What an idiot!
That's kind of funny, but yeah.
Yeah.
Here, I got you a used COVID mask. Oh, thank you. Nobody wants that. It's a great gift. Sorry, I'm just that makes me mad.
You reminded me, Lemon, when about the lunches. Well, you brought it up too, Miko. Um, I just remember I was working at this one company, and they're like, "Good job, guys! You know, we've sold like $5 million worth of merchandise and stuff like that." And it's like, we get a pizza party. Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, cool. I like pizza, but I you could have gave us something else. At least some brownies too.
Or a
Actually,
or a bonus.
what Lemon was saying reminded me of someone I worked with on the weekends for Napa. One of my previous employers, I used to go and help out at one of their clients, a uh, local car sales place. And every Saturday they'd provide free lunch for their employees, and it was great. It would be stuff like Chick-fil-A, local diners, stuff like that. It was good, but there's always one guy that refused to eat it. So I went to ask him about it, and he said, "Look, I would rather have a pay raise than a weekly free lunch. So I just refused to eat it on principle." I was like, "All right. I mean, I respect that."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's respectable, but still, free food is free food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's very tough because you can always say everything's situational, you know. But
Yeah.
it's like if they're doing that while still naturally giving pay raises every now and then, I think that's perfectly fine. Then it shows appreciation than a distraction.
Yeah.
It really is like, what's the intention of the people? Like with the diaper, I'm pretty sure their intention wasn't to,
Too good.
make someone happy. They're doing it on purpose to annoy people.
Yeah.
But
Maybe that's why it annoys me.
yeah,
Well,
and yeah.
when you mentioned intention, that kind of reminds me of, you remember the Fallout 76 fiasco?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching The Internet Historian, shout out to him, great channel, his documentary on it. And he mentioned how, with all this garbage going on, players not getting what they paid for in this broken game, Bethesda tried to smooth things over by offering $5 worth of free currency for the in-game shop. I was like, oh my gosh, are you out of your mind? That's nowhere near good enough.
Hmm. Yeah,
Like, you might,
and the funny thing about it is like you would have to use some actual money to like actually get enough in-game currency to buy something.
yeah, I think you mentioned all you could buy was like a few pieces of wood flooring with that.
Yeah, something.
So
No,
yeah, I think it was all good.
I'll go finish your thought.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, I think we've kind of reached some good points. Like, if it's a gift, no, just accept it. Be grateful, because, like you were saying, Hammerhead, a lot of it depends on the intention. A gift, even if it's bad, is still given with love. And then these other things are more like, with other things, it might just be more distraction or like a cheap attempt at a kind of a bribe or a handout.
Hmm. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I've complained about this before, but this is a topic where you complain. So one of the games that I play, their last anniversary, a ton of people were really not satisfied with the gifts that they gave. And this year, they're expecting the same thing to happen where you get a certain amount of in-game currency and stuff like that, um, which is like the minimum of what people want. But like on their newest game, that does not retain as many players, um, but is getting a lot more love from this company for some odd reason. Like their money making game is not being treated as well, where it's like these people are getting these rewards that they got for the anniversary like every other month or something like that. I don't know the exact example, but it's just like, hey guys, they're still giving you free stuff, and people are saying, yeah, you don't complain about it. A lot of things are a lot more generous. I mean, this game's a lot more generous than other games, and it's like, not really. Like,
Yeah.
they're stuff that's making like half the amount of money is so much better in these aspects that people have been complaining about for years. It's like, why can't they just do the same thing or more? It's like, do you want to keep people paying? You want to keep them playing? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's free and it's more than what we've gone on our own without spending money. So it's like, okay, still dumb.
Kind of like it's better than a kick in the teeth, at least, kind of thing.
Yeah. When it's like, oh.
Yeah, and kind of talking about the flip side of that. I have seen times where I feel like a community is being really ungrateful, like and ungracious.
Oh, yeah.
So, for example, a really recent one would be Sea of Thieves. They just added this big crossover they're doing with Monkey Island, which is this this classic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you've heard of it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's classic point and click adventure. So it's completely free. Great new addition to the game. People like it. But now I keep seeing complaints of like, well, it's like an hour and a half of content and there's not enough in this new season. And I'm like, what are you guys complaining for? Like, most of the tall tales are maybe an hour to an hour and a half long. Oh, that's like little story episodes.
Yeah.
So that's how long they were with the Pirates of the Caribbean crossover they did 2 years ago. So it's like, what are you all complaining for? We're getting this for free. Now, some of them made some valid points. Stuff like, apparently they announced they're pushing back the next season. So I guess outside of the Monkey Island crossover, this one's been kind of sparse in terms of content. I'm like, well, yeah, but it's still like a pretty big, pretty cool thing that we're getting for free. So why are you whining about it? I'm sure someone would argue that point with me, but that's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, like I can see why, like I can agree with their complaints on that setting. It's pushing back content that they would have had earlier. Um, but that's also, if that statement is true, it's like, were they going to push it back anyways, even without the free stuff, or did the free stuff result in the pushing back of the actual like main storyline content?
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, then yeah, I can agree with that point. I collaborations are really fun and stuff like that, and usually you get some free fun stuff with it. But if you're there for the main game and they won't let you play more of the main game, then that sucks.
Yeah, I get a point.
But yeah, no, it's Monkey Island. I haven't played it. I'm gonna be honest, but I know it's a classic game that came out, I don't know, maybe 90s.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like 3, 4 of them.
Yeah, I just made a fifth one like 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, original writers, original actors, they're all back for it.
Oh,
Pretty dang good, actually.
It's made by LucasArts.
Yeah, well, LucasArts made them originally, but somehow Microsoft has the rights now.
Yeah, they do. It's by Telltale. So yeah, it looks like the first one was 1990.
Yeah, that checks out.
Oh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games.
Oh, jeez.
And a couple of them are just special editions.
Oh.
So
The newest one that was pretty good. I played a little bit of that.
I should watch a playthrough of them.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie. I feel like there is a lot of pirate related games that are known.
Yeah, like I think at this point it's just the most famous two are just Sea of Thieves and Assassin's Creed 4.
Yeah. I can't think of any other pirate games. I don't know, Lemon, do you know any pirate games?
Not on the top of my head, no.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know.
Sea of
Ubisoft.
Thieves and yeah.
What?
I was saying, yeah, Sea of Thieves and Assassin's Creed are the only ones that come to mind. I'm sure there's some
Yeah.
obscure. There's probably some obscure indie game out there, but nah, I don't know what those.
Oh,
Yeah.
since you mentioned that, there is one called Tortuga. That's kind of
Oh,
like,
never heard of it.
yeah, yeah. It's more of an indie game. Like, maybe not an indie. It's just like a lower budget thing. And then Ubisoft has gotten kind of infamous because they've been working on a pirate game called Skull and Bones for I think over a decade now.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think it's either that or no, it was Beyond Good and Evil 2 that's broken the record for longest time in development hell. But Skull and Bones is like, oh my gosh, just delays over and over again for at least a decade. They finally came out with a preview and it doesn't even look that good.
It's too bad.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess there's quite a bit. Um, oh, Tropico. I totally forgot about that. That came out in like
Oh,
the NES times.
Tropico. I thought that was about being a Caribbean dictator.
Yeah, but there's the second one's Pirate Cove.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I'm changing the topic, but oh, One Piece. There's One Piece games. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
I'm an idiot. Okay,
oh yeah, that's right.
that's another topic though. There's actually quite a few that I've never heard of.
I guess that makes sense. I mean, kind of pirates, cowboys, gladiators, and space are all just sort of classics by this point.
Yeah, at least on here there's like 50, but they're also including Donkey Kong Country 2.
Oh,
and
okay.
and the Wind Waker and Lego Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah, that counts. Yeah, actually, there's all the Pirates of the Caribbean games. Technically, you could say Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3, too.
Yeah. Oh, Shantae.
Oh, yeah, Shantae.
Ugh, we're embarrassment. Okay, but I
Anyways.
yeah, I guess going back to the topic though, I got the priority when before complaining is like what's the intention? I guess is what we're coming to. Um, when it's a thing about chance though, I actually want to quickly before we finish this topic, like things when it comes to like chance. For example, gotcha games which are growing popularity.
Mhm.
Um, those type of situations where not necessarily when you're using in-game currency to get characters because that's the luck aspect, um but when you get free stuff in those situations, what do you think about complaining then?
In that case, yeah, they do kind of have to strike this balance. Like, it does have to be generous enough that people say, oh, great, this is awesome, not just, like a cheap little handout.
Okay, so it's kind of similar to the food situation.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's all I have for that topic.
Okay. How about you, Lemon?
Yeah, that's about all I have for the topic as well.
Okay. Me too. So then we'll move on to Men's topic. What have you got for us?
So today I was thinking about parasocial relationships with creators. So I don't know, I'm not sure if they right words for parasocial relations. I'm going to look it up really quick. So I watched a video about it the other day, and it kind of made sense, kind of how I feel about uh, creators in general. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so the first Google search says parasocial relationships are one-sided relationships where one person extends emotional energy, interest, and time, and the other party, the persona, is completely unaware of the other's existence. I watched a video about this and I was like, oh, dang, I didn't realize. It made me think about like a lot of creators that I follow because like sometimes I've noticed that like maybe like when we're younger and like certain people online will like become so obsessed with like creators online and like celebrities in general. And I still realize like it's a very one-sided relationship because like a lot of people I don't know they see a lot of personal sides of these creators, but yet so they feel like they're their friend, but yet it's like a one-sided thing. Like the creator um, benefits off this like um, this type of relationship, and I don't know. It just seemed. I've also noticed it with like not just like creators on YouTube, like for example PewDiePie and all those, but also like celebrities and musicians. Like I noticed it myself when I was younger. Like I used to like be so obsessed with some musicians and some bands, and like I always thought it'd be really cool to like get to meet them and get to know them. But then I kind of realized like it's more of it's like a business transaction thing. Like you should think of it more of a business where like they're providing entertainment, but then as soon as the entertainment kind of goes away, like you shouldn't really feel invested anymore. Because I know some people get so obsessed with like these celebrities and bands that um uh it's hard to explain. Just they get so obsessed with it and they don't want the word I'm trying to think of almost like deify like these people and like they give like their whole life and soul to these people and it's like kind of seems kind of like a I don't know kind of a messed up thing to do like taking advantage of like this one-sided relationship and what are you guys' thoughts on that so far? If that makes any sense?
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I like this topic. When my thoughts that came to me after you shared all that is there's a lot of bad examples when it comes to that, as you were talking about. One prime example that those who are up to date in anime, um, one anime called Oshi-no-ko. I'm sorry if I got that totally wrong, but in the first episode or something, it's about this idol girl, and then one of her fans is a stalker, and then spoilers. I'm sorry, you two. She doesn't end up living through this encounter,
Oh,
and he went crazy because they found out after she took a break it was because she had kids. That type of situation.
oh.
Um, but that's all in the first episode, so it doesn't really spoil the rest of the story. But it's those type of situations. Like another guy married a hologram, essentially. I believe it was Hatsune Miku,
Oh, jeez.
but I could be totally wrong. Or it's like without thinking of characters, like a guy married his car. A little different situation. But I think it's the same mindset where they're so obsessed with it. And I've always told myself if I'm in that situation, like yeah, I'm a fan of like Markiplier or like Jacksepticeye and everything, especially um, those type of creators. I always told myself if I see them, I would either just let them be whatever they're doing their own stuff, But if I'm in a situation where I could say a couple words, we're sitting next to each other for some reason, I'll just say, "Hey, I like your stuff. You know, keep at it," and call it good. I I know that these people have their own lives, and I'm just one of many that recognize them. I know that some of these celebrities are very nice to their fan base, but that still, in my mind, doesn't justify them being talked to 50 times in like an hour by different people when they're just like crossing the street.
Yeah.
And another situation are like VTubers, where like people you can't see their faces, but like people are so crazy about them. Like a little while back, there is a VTuber concert, and people were bashing on it so badly. It didn't look that good in all honesty. There's one where like it shows like the VTuber and his like hair is covering his eyes, and then like the hair lifts up so you can see the VTuber's eyes.
Oh, jeez.
Everyone's going crazy about it. It's like, well, he just showed his eyes. He's just like bobbing his head back and forth.
Sounds like a
Uh,
Muppet.
yeah, no, exactly like that. And actually, you bring up a very good point there, Mako. I feel like a bad shift is like Muppets, for example. Everyone knows Kermit the Frog, except
Yeah.
maybe some of the younger generations that didn't have parents that showed it. People know who Elmo is, but if they're at a performance like the Muppet Show itself, if it had like a live audience for some reason, people are gonna know there actually is someone behind that puppet that does the voice and everything. But you don't have to be obsessed with the Muppet so much.
Then why
You
is he
know.
always credited as himself? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But that's it's kind of weird comparing VTubers or people that have a different persona that they play to Muppets. But I feel like in some aspects it's kind of similar, where it's like you can like the character, but you kind of need to calm down when it comes to the person behind the the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my ideas.
Yeah, and I was thinking the same. Like, I hate to be the guy to make statements on human nature, but I feel like a lot of people want that kind of connection. And some of them find it in celebrities or fictional characters or, you know, creators. And the problem is, yeah, it ends up being that one sided relationship, and that can end up getting obsessive. Usually, the very fact that they're like, what's the word? Buying into it deeper and deeper shows that they're not mentally healthy to begin with. But yeah, like for the most part, if you're doing that and you realize you're doing it, then you need to get some help.
Hmm.
So, like, fictional characters, I guess, are one thing because usually, on some level, you understand that they're not real. But then I have seen people go into absolute conniptions over a fictional character doing one thing or another, usually when their ship doesn't pan out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like a character dying, yeah, I can understand people getting upset or even crying. When it's like, why didn't you approve my gay romance with his brother? Then it's like, okay, all right, you need to chill. But yeah, it's good to appreciate content creators and celebrities for the good that they do for those that actually do good, and it's good to appreciate a good character, and it's healthy to even connect with a good character, but it's got to have limits. You know, like kind of as a weird example, I've been playing Starfield lately.
Oh, you got it.
And oh yeah, and one of the perks that they made that they teased in the trailer was you can have the annoying fan, who I guess was a famous NPC from Oblivion.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so he runs up and he's like, "Oh my gosh, it's really you! I need to breathe in every molecule around you." At one point, I'm talking to him and I'm like, "Do you have any interests?" And he says, "Oh, my interests are drinking tea, drinking coffee, and worshiping the very ground you walk upon." Actually, angels don't walk, do they? It's like, okay, that level, that's an example of super unhealthy. What did you call it? Lemon, not paranormal relationship.
Paranormal, parasocial.
Yeah, that's it. Parasocial.
I mean, I guess it could be both if it's like a ghost.
Yeah. But yeah, like that's kind of like an in-game example of parasocial relationship. So of course, I guess it depends on how you treat them. I mean, one of your options is to just tell them you're going to kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, in reality, which is a lot less cartoonish. Yeah, just keep it in check.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Lemon, if you're gonna say something, but I wanted to add a thought that came to me. I I feel like a lot of the connections that occur happen because it's that time being spent that's happening where you watch someone, for example, do all these other stuff. I don't want to keep going back to Markiplier, but he's a really good example about this. Because millions of people watch his videos, and he has typically a nice fan base, and he's nice to his fan base in return.
Oh yeah,
Um, but it's like you watch him make these movies, you watch him do this stuff out outside with his friends, doing some random activities. You see him playing all these games, and typically when you like do stuff with your actual friends or family, that builds that stronger connection, and you sometimes adore or appreciate them to a certain level, and that's happening to these people online because they're putting in that same time and are making these connections with that person. It's like, oh, I've seen them go through all this stuff and do all these fun things and go through all these emotions. I go through these emotions with them, and
yeah,
and then you have that connection. It's like, oh, I've know you so well, but like you've never seen me.
yeah. That kind of reminds me of something comedian Zach Galifianakis said. He mentioned he hates it when people walk up to him and talk to him as if they know him. But I'm like, well, to a degree, they do kind of know you. You are a public personality, so you
Mhm.
know details about you.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why it's just like to the minimum when you see them, and if they want to continue, then you continue, or you just don't don't take a picture of them.
Yeah,
Just like they're, if you had people taking pictures of you all the time, you would not like it.
yeah,
So,
I definitely wouldn't.
you know,
Something I wanted to add real quick is if we are talking about a fictional character, there are cases where someone mentions how a character helped them through a difficult time. There was a pretty famous news story, a woman who posted that Superman helped her stop trying to commit suicide. And because of that, he was one year he was used as the mascot for Suicide Awareness Day.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so like, yeah, sometimes a character can have a really special, very positive influence in your life. Again, just keep it healthy.
That's really cool. That's kind of a cool story. Yeah, I feel like it gets a little weird or different when it's like fictional characters versus real life people. Um, yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
with real life people, sometimes it's like, do you truly know this person? Because sometimes, like with all this media and stuff, excuse me, with all this media and stuff, you never know like what the actual person is and like how much of it is actually legit. Like there's probably someone behind the scenes trying to like do like a market campaign and try to like use this person as like a, I don't know how to explain it, like a selling point, something like that.
Oh yeah.
Some things like that. Because it's really hard to tell it's true. Because remember, I heard a recording once about like the drama between Kanye West and Taylor Swift one year, where like Taylor
Oh
Swift was
yeah.
accepting.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Apparently, some like phone leak came out, and apparently they planned that. Like Kanye West and Taylor Swift planned that out because they wanted to like play a narrative and stuff like that. Don't quote me on that. Like I have to double check that, but it wouldn't surprise me though, and it wouldn't surprise me either if like the with crap, what's his face? Will Smith and Chris Pine, with Will Smith smacking that dude. It wouldn't surprise me if that was planned out because it kind of came out at a very convenient time because there's a war going on in like the other part of the world between a major superpower and a smaller country at the time, and then a couple months later that happened, and everyone's talking about that online. It's like I wonder if that was done to like try to distract people from what's going on, but I don't know. Maybe it's just conspiracy theory to me,
Oh,
but
you mean Chris
anyways,
Rock?
yeah. Did I say Chris Pine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was not Chris Rock, yeah, that dude. Anyways, yeah. Another thought I had, I guess we're moving on really quick, but another thought I had as well. Um, I know for myself in the past, like sometimes I'll project like my dreams and wants onto somebody else. For example, Lindsay Sterling, I discovered her right before she became big, and I kind of like, to me, it felt like I kind of developed like a, what's it called, like a, how do I say this? That sound weird, like a weird like relationship with her, because like,
Like
that
a
sounds really weird.
kinship.
Yeah, kinship. Because like I discovered her before like she became big, and I bought like all her music and watched all her videos because I was trying to support her, and I'm like, I really hope she gets big one day, and like I'm thinking about it and all that stuff. And then she finally did explode, and then she went on tour and all that, and I was like, went and saw her in concert. But then the other day, I was thinking about it, like, dang, she never knows I exist, even though like I feel like a part of her journey and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not really saying it's a negative thing either, too. I mean, um, so the person doesn't necessarily need to know you in order to like have an impact in your life, But
Yeah.
at the same time, I kind of wonder, like, some people like to project their dreams and wants on other people because I know, like, for me at that time and age, I really wanted to be like a professional musician and like make music and like perform and all that stuff. So I kind of projected that dream onto her, and seeing her achieve it kind of made me feel better because it's like, oh, if I can have it, then maybe she can have it, or help someone else get it. And I kind of do
Yeah.
that sometimes now, where like I follow like specific like artists and musicians online, and they're smaller and stuff. And part of me really sees myself in them and kind of being like, well, if I was in their position, I probably want someone to help support me. So like I'll um, donate to their Patreon and I'll buy some of their stuff every once in a while. And it's kind of like you want to, you're projecting your dream onto someone else, and it's like if you can't have it yourself, then maybe you can help someone else have it. So I don't know if that's another rabbit hole to go down in, but um, yeah. And there's some creators that really annoy me. They're just like, donate to my Patreon so I can just do this. And it's like, what value are you bringing into this world? Like some dude, all he does is like do weird like social documentaries, and he talks about how he hates having like a normal job and how he hates like all this stuff. And he's like, here, donate to my Patreon so I don't have to do this anymore. And it's like, so I have to work a normal job and be like, help help you get out of it yourself. And you're like, I don't know, just
You want me to work my job because you're too whiny to work yours.
yeah, it's like what value am I getting out of this? Like, I guess for the most part, like parasocial relationships don't annoy me too much, but when creators try to exploit that in a certain way, like that's when it gets kind of annoying. Where it's like they try to appeal to their. I guess another example would be like, well, this might be a little too adult, but like X or not OnlyFans accounts. like people
Oh,
do that. I sometimes wonder if that's exploitative because they're exploiting like loneliness of men and just like stuff like that, And it's like, no, it's kind of annoys me in that regard, but yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
you have a point. You have a point.
Yeah, but at the same time, while I'm saying that though, it's like I do recognize there's like very positive things from like creators can have positive impacts on our lives. I'm not saying that they're not, but I think it's really important to anyone out there that's like watching this or anything like that. Just try to invest in relationships that are in your life, or try to invest in relationships like sounds good. Try to invest in real life relationships, like people that are in your life. Don't neglect them over like online creators. Like it's important to like foster real relationships through family and friends and develop a community and stuff. In that sense. So
yeah,
that's just kind of what I want to put out there too. Just make sure you're prioritizing like real life relationships and with your family and friends and developing a community. Because I feel like in this day and age, like our people become a lot more lonely because people don't really have a community anymore and stuff. So I just wanted to do a PSA and say, hey, hug your mother and father and all that stuff. Just reach out to friends and before you simp over some person online. So I'd say invest in those relationships versus before you invest into like a creator type thing.
yeah.
I didn't want to say the limit. If you do want to get Lindsay's attention, if you still have that merch, and she's busy somewhere, if you could get her to sign some of the early merch, she might recognize that, and then you leave an impression. Oh, this person has some of my oldest stuff.
And then you sweep her off her feet.
Mm-hmm. And then marry and then divorce, take half her wealth. But
There we go.
Take her violins.
Right.
now a little example of that actually. I don't know how much they remember my brother, but my oldest brother has the first edition Aragon book,
Oh wow.
and before even printed any hard copies, it was just soft copies. Is that the right term?
Oh, paperback.
Paperbacks versus hardbacks. I haven't read. I
Very
haven't
soft,
read.
soft cover sounds. That's kind of a cute term too.
I'm sorry. I haven't read like an actual book for a while. I'm actually starting to read the Chronicles of Narnia series. It's been on my headrest on my bed for years, and I never touched it.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah, they're not that bad. But sorry, I'm drifting off. Hey, he took it for a signing, and the author Poloni, I believe that's his name.
Yeah, Christopher Paolini.
Oh, thank you. Um, was like astonished that someone had a first edition book. When he was still like a teenager when he printed it out and everything.
Yeah.
Then so that's the thing I'm trying to get at. Okay.
Yeah. I'll go back to Lindsay Sterling though. Yeah, it's funny. She's like I have several Lindsays in my life, my coworker and another friend. But anyways, went my third concert. I went to hers. My friends and we graduated and went out. I thought it'd be really cool if we bought like a sign and wrote on it, be like, "We love you, Lindsay." And we like at the middle of the concert, like one of my friends like pulled up the sign and like was like waving it up and down. We saw her like look at it, and it's like she noticed that sign. I was just thinking it was so cool, and I wanted to like have her like have like a friendship with her. But now I realize like yeah, it's probably never gonna happen, So it's whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, I didn't buy any physical merch at first. All I bought was like the music online on iTunes, which back in the day people did. So
To show her the digital receipt.
yeah, you see this.
Could you sign my cell phone?
No, that actually probably would sell pretty well. I'm just thinking of I can't remember what that one movie is called, but it has the one actor and Jennifer Lopez. I think it's Jennifer Lopez. I could be getting it totally wrong. Um, but he's the actor that plays one of the little mini figurines in the Night in the Museum movies. He's the cowboy guy.
Oh, Owen.
Yeah, I knew you'd know. um, I think it's Owen Wilson, but it might be another actor. But basically, she's like a famous singer and is about to get engaged, but finds out that her to be fiance cheated, and the daughter was a big fan, and the father went with his daughter, sorry, and she had to go bathroom or something, and on the sign it said, "Will you marry me?" Because the daughter was a big fan, and the dad was holding it up, and then
Oh,
the
yeah.
famous singer was like, "Yes, I will." They come up on
Yeah, I
stage.
remember that.
I can't
Whatever.
remember what movie it's called,
I think
but
it's actually called Will You Marry Me?
oh, okay. I want to finish that movie. I never finished it,
Or it
but
might just be Marry Me.
okay. But it's like that situation where it's like, people think if I do this, oh, I might actually get something with them. And yeah, probably not. You might get a smile and a thanks, but oh well. Okay, that's enough. That's all for me.
Yep, I think that's all I got for now too.
Okay. All right. Well, good talk. And I guess we'll wrap this episode up. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.